So these are kids being doxxed. These are 15, 16-year-old kids being doxxed. Their information put out online, and death threats. I mean, this is what the media has wrought. And I just want to show you the media's attitude. Not all of them, again, ABC and CBS handled this well, but I want to show you this. NBC was one of the chief offenders. Savannah Guthrie on NBC has Nick Sandmann, who was the boy who was kind of targeted by this guy, and who was called, people were saying, he should be punched in the face. One woman tweeted that she would give oral sex to anybody who would punch him. And this is Savannah Guthrie on NBC, one of the chief offenders. This is how she interviews him.
Do you feel that you owe anybody an apology? Do you see your own fault in any way?
As far as standing there, I had every right to do so. My position is that I was not disrespectful to Mr. Phillips. I respect him. I'd like to talk to him. I mean, in hindsight, I wish we could have walked away and avoided the whole thing.
As far as I'm concerned, Savannah Guthrie should be groveling on the floor, begging this kid for forgiveness, not asking if he wants to apologize. She should be sorry she works for a network that slandered children. She should be sorry that they haven't stood down from that slander. She should be sorry for everything they did. And she, as a representative of that network, not personally, but as a representative of that network, ought to be groveling and asking for forgiveness instead of asking him, the kid, whether he wants to apologize. There was just a wonderfully revelatory moment, although not completely revelatory, on The View with Whoopi and Joy. As I always say, without Whoopi, there's no joy. Without joy, there's no Whoopi. And here's Whoopi and Joy talking about how this could have happened.
Many people admitted they made snap judgments before these other facts came in. But is it that we just instantly say that's what it is based on what we see in that moment, and then have to walk stuff back when it turns out we're wrong? Why is that? Do we keep making the same mistake?
Because we're desperate to get Trump out of office. That's why.
So she at least was honest about that. But again, this happened with Reagan in the 80s. It happened to George W. Bush. It happens to every Republican. It happened to Mitt Romney during the races when they accused him of murder, essentially, or allowed him to be accused of murder. This is what they do. They are, and it's more than this. In fact, Donald Trump Jr. came closer to the truth in his accusation on Fox. Here's what he said to Laura Ingraham.
You had some Catholic schoolboys that were at a Right to Life march, okay? They were wearing a MAGA hat. They had to pounce because the media wants that to be true. They want a bunch of nice Catholic kids, happen to be white. They want them to be the enemy. This is what they've created. The media has done this to themselves. They have shot themselves in the foot time and time again because they so desperately want this to be the truth.
He's absolutely right about this. It is, in fact, what these kids represent, chief among it, the Christian religion, their Catholicism, which was being on full display in their defending the right to life, the right for babies to live and grow in the womb without being destroyed, without having themselves wiped off the face of the earth. We know this because of the way they treated Karen Pence when it came out that she was teaching part-time at a small private Christian school that, among other things, upheld the classic traditional Christian teaching against homosexuality.